Nigerians in Dubai is a community blog and podcast that captures the stories, impact, and lifestyles of Nigerians living, working, and visiting Dubai. People, impact, and lifestyle. Follow us on all social media platforms at NigeriansInDubai.
Yo, hey guys, welcome to the Nigerians in Dubai Podcast. It's our fourth podcast and we are very excited. This week on the podcast, we're talking about investing in Dubai. But before we dive deeply into this amazing podcast, we have some amazing articles on our blog that we believe you should check out. This week we wrote about our experience at Dr. Ayo Falio Abino's birthday party. Dr. Falio Ayo Abino is a top banker in Nigeria at the level of an executive director, and he held a birthday celebration in Dubai, and we learned a couple of lessons that we have shared with you on the blog. This week we also, in our lifestyle session, we wrote about Beyonce's new album, especially a particular song she featured Wizkid on. Wizkid is a famous singer-songwriter based out of Nigeria. The album features a lot of Afrobeat legends, a lot of Nigerians, and it was a pretty exciting album. You should check that article out. Also this week, we wrote about picking the right startup or picking the right partner for your startup in Dubai, our in-5 media experience. So as a startup founder in Dubai, you have to be extremely strategic about how you decide to incorporate your business or how you decide to plan towards the growth of your business. So we've taken out the liberty to write an article for you on picking the right partner for your startup in Dubai, and we share some of the things we believe you should look out for before you pick a right partner. Check out the articles and hit us up at Nigerians in DXB across our social media platforms. Thanks, guys. So on the podcast today, we're talking to Tobi Familusi, and we're talking about investing in Dubai as a Nigerian. This is a question that a lot of people have been asking in online forums and on different platforms. How can you invest in Dubai as a Nigerian? So thanks for coming on the podcast, Tobi.
Thank you, fine. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. So first, I want you to tell us a little bit about your background and your role here in Dubai.
Okay, I started my career as a banker straight from the university. After the university, I joined myself with a bank called Sky Bank, now Polaris Bank, I think that's what they're called now.
Yes.
And I worked with them from my NYC days up till 2017. Okay. So I touched quite a bit of some departments over there. I started working there at the branch level, doing my National Youth Service core year for 1 year. Then I was absorbed into the system, where my first 6 months I was working in a department called Domestic Operations, typically called Head Office Accounts in many banks, where I was in the specific unit called Revenue Collections. From there, after 6 months, I went again to the branch where I was doing business. I was in business now, and I was under a small business group. Okay. And from there, I moved. I did that for about 1.5 years. Then I moved to international operations, where I was processing international transactions.
Okay.
Very interesting place, very interesting department. My best experience actually in the bank was actually international operations, because I learned so much there. I learned so much about foreign investments from there, because most people who are buying Forex or sending Forex are actually trying to either pay for an investment they have abroad or trying to make an investment abroad. So that's why I got some information about. I also got information about trading in Forex there.
Okay.
And quite a number of interesting things I learned there. Actually.
Awesome. Okay.
Then I moved to compliance, where that was actually where I ended my banking career. Then I moved here, and I joined myself to a real estate company.
Okay. Interesting. From banking to real estate.
Yes.
How do you think Nigeria prepared you for your current role?
I will say that Nigeria gave me the work ethics.
Yeah.
I worked in the most structured environment. Oftentimes I tell people that the bank, anywhere in the world, I think, is the most structured environment to work in.
Okay.
Because the bank, you have to do it by the books. There is internal policy that you must follow in the bank, and there is also the CBN policy, that every bank must adhere to. So there are regulations from the CBN, which the compliance department of every bank must ensure that the bank complies with.
Yeah.
And there is also internal policy, policies and procedures and processes that must be followed, that the internal audit of the bank
has laid down,
and they are custodians of same.
Yeah.
So because of that, because we do a lot of things by the books, you tend to want to run your life actually by the books also.
Interesting.
You have to wake up early. You have to get to the bank before 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And because I worked in Lagos and I was working on the island, Victoria Island, you have to get out of your house a bit early.
Yeah.
If you don't get out of your house by 5 a.m., perhaps 5:30.
Lagos and traffic.
By 6:45, you are already late for work. And by the time you're late for work once or twice, then the internal control begins to send you emails, queries, and stuff, and you are threatened that you're going to lose your job. You know how Nigeria is about those things. So it kind of shapes your belief as to how you should take your work, to be honest.
Okay.
You should take it more seriously.
Okay.
Nigeria, permit me to say, Nigeria is very, the work ethics in Nigeria allows you to have this judgmental approach to things, because you feel guilty if things don't go well because you didn't do some things right. And that's what the bank makes you feel if you don't do some things right. You're dealing with people's money, and you cannot afford not to take every part of the industry or every part of the bank. You can't afford to take it lightly. You have to take everything seriously, from the branch to the head office to the support functions. Everybody has to take it seriously because we're dealing with people's depositors' funds, basically.
Yeah, and the CBN is
the CBN is also, watching you and making sure that everything goes well.
A bit of my background is in financial services as well, so I understand the role of the CBN as a watchdog.
Exactly.
Basically.
So because of that lifestyle that I had when I got into this place, I wasn't expecting anything less, because this is outside the shores of Nigeria. This is abroad, as we call it at home. Yeah. I expected it to be a bit more intense.
Greener pastures.
Yeah, greener pastures.
Call it.
I expected it to be a bit more. I took the toughness of what I experienced back home in Nigeria to the work, and I must say it's been very, very helpful. It's just basically the work ethics that I've just to summarize it. The work ethics from Nigeria has made me even fit in properly into the sector here.
So what's your current role here?
Presently, I'm an international sales consultant for EMAAR Properties. I work for EMAAR.
So Tobi is an international sales consultant for EMAAR Properties.
Yes.
Okay.
So
EMAAR Properties is the number one real estate firm in Dubai.
EMAAR Properties is not just the number one real estate firm in the world in Dubai, but the number one real estate firm in the whole of UAE and in the Middle East.
Okay. Awesome.
Well, not just that, we are the most valuable real estate company in the world. Outside of China. The company is worth about $9 billion as I speak. And that's a whole lot of money. That's a company that is bigger than Manchester United. I support Manchester United. So I always like to say that. So they're very valuable. We don't also like to call ourselves real estate company. We like to call ourselves a lifestyle company. Because we develop properties that suits people's lifestyle. That's basically what we do. So we're the number one real estate development company in the Middle East. And we are the most valuable real estate development company in the world outside of China. We have developed the most popular structure in the world, which is the Burj Khalifa.
Okay.
The tallest building in the world.
Okay.
And of course, the mall in the world, the Dubai Mall.
Awesome.
We developed that also.
Okay.
So that's just a brief of EMAAR.
Awesome.
Properties, yes.
Okay. So we're talking about investing in Dubai as a Nigerian. So I want you to look at your experience at EMAAR and in Dubai as a whole and talk a little bit about the investment landscape.
Okay. I would just like to first generalize Dubai and not just singular EMAAR, but let's talk about Dubai generally, how that investment in Dubai has been, real estate investment in Dubai, I need to be specific now, is something that the whole world is actually looking into now.
Okay.
Well, not now. They've been looking into it for quite some time. And Dubai has proven to be very fertile for real estate investment.
Okay.
Of course, we understand that the market situation presently, there is a decline, which is, I think, what happens normally in real estate generally, globally. There will always be a time when real estate is booming, and there will always be a time when real estate is on a decline.
Okay.
Then there will always be a time when real estate will begin to pick up again, and it will boom. So Dubai it's not even on the decline now. As a matter of fact, Dubai real estate is actually picking up.
Okay. Are there reasons why this is happening in Dubai 2020? Does it have a role to play?
Actually, yes and no. First, it's with the strategies the government has implemented, to actually get more people to come into Dubai. Government has started doing things like you getting residence visa.
Okay.
Instead of getting it for 2 years on your property, I think it's now 3 years.
Yeah.
Now there is 5 years residence visa
and 10 years as well.
10 years residence visa, which real estate investment, which a part of the investment but would be coming from real estate. And since a lot of people who invest here are investing in real estate, it becomes easier for you who want to stay longer in Dubai to invest in real estate and get residence visa for 5 years or 10 years.
Okay.
If you invest here in Dubai for 5 million, which could be properties, which is mostly properties, okay, you can get a 5-year residence visa.
Okay.
If you invest here in
renewable residence visa
after 5 years. If you invest for in properties here for about 40%, for 4 million, and the rest of your investments is 6 million, which totals about 10 million, you can apply for a 10-year residence visa.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want us to look at beyond real estate investment. I want us to look at investment as a whole.
Generally,
yes, because as a portfolio investor, I want to invest in. I want to have different things on my portfolio beyond investments. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the opportunities that exist. We can look at the Dubai market versus the Nigerian investment market, and then also talk a little bit about the opportunities here.
What I can say categorically is that Dubai, as a major city-state in the world, is positioning itself to be a place where investors around the world will come to and invest. Okay, obviously, Expo 2020 is coming. Everybody wants to use that as an opportunity to showcase what they have. It's a World Expo, and it's going to be holding in Dubai, so a lot of companies are coming to set up prepare themselves for the expo. That's one aspect of it. Another aspect is recently we saw that Uber acquired
Careem, yes.
Yes, Careem, which is
Amazon acquired
Souk.
Yeah.
So you can see the e-commerce section of it, that Dubai is positioning itself to be a giant in e-commerce.
Yeah.
In the e-commerce business in the Middle East, and they're also trying to be a giant even in the tech industry, with Uber acquiring Careem for $2 billion, I think.
Yeah.
And that alone set everybody on fire, and tech investors started coming. And I think there's a government initiative to even give grants to people who want to do tech innovative things here in Dubai.
Yeah.
You will be given some grants. So Dubai is creating an enabling environment for investors to come and set up things here, either tech or e-commerce or real estate. We have different real estate development companies here that are not indigenous real estate companies.
Okay.
I think there is a real estate company called Ellington. I think they're from UK. I'm not so sure, to be honest, but I don't think they're from here. We have Azizi, who is not from here. We have EMAAR Properties. We've got quite a number of people here who are doing well in terms of their investment portfolio, and they are not from here.
Okay.
So, and again, if you look at the population of Dubai, I think we're about 3 million as at now, and 90% of the people of the 3 million are expats and foreigners, and the remaining 10% are basically locals. And what does that even tell you? That tells you that if you have that larger proportion of people in a place, that's to tell you that the environment is actually ripe for investment for foreigners.
Okay.
As foreigners alike. Also, let me delve a little bit into real estate. If you buy a ready property here, regardless of your nationality, whether you're a foreigner or you're a local, and you make a 25% equity contribution in property, as a foreigner, you can access 75% mortgage to buy a property. 75%. The bank can finance the remaining 75% for you.
That's very interesting.
As a foreigner, yes, you can get that, and that again allows you to see why people can actually come and buy a property, and they can get mortgage here in Dubai.
Okay.
Being a foreigner.
Okay.
So Dubai is actually setting up things like that so that you can actually come in and invest, and it becomes stressless for you. So that's why you find out that it has become a multicultural environment where people from different spheres of the world come to live, to invest, to do business, to make money, and to go.
No longer to go.
Well, no longer to go because a lot of people are saying because
Dubai
now we
wants
have
you as a partner.
Exactly, because we have longer visas to allow you to stay. Instead of staying for 3 years, you can stay for 5 years.
And 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
And the big one that they just launched, the gold card.
Yeah, the gold card.
Which is a permanent residency.
Yeah.
Which is a game changer in the history of Dubai. Market, everybody. There's a lot of skepticism about Dubai real estate presently. I would always tell you, get the best advice, get the best advisor, and get the best property, get the best location for you to understand your real estate investment. So understand what the market is saying, because the market could be very tricky sometimes if you're not careful. You have to know. That's why you have to know whether it's short term or long term before you can understand whether the market indices fits your investment objective. The third thing I also want to say is decide on type of investment that fit your goals.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to first have. Of course, you must have goals. Of course, the end of the goal is usually more money, right? So understand how you want to make more money. Do you want to make more money on a short term level or on a long term level? So if you're looking at on a long term level, you have to look at tangible assets, of course, which is real estate again. If it's short term, there are quite a number of things to do. Financial investments, especially financial investments. You can look into that. Get informed about the numbers. Know the numbers. Know particularly what the interest rate is. Particularly know how the minimum I need to invest with. Know how much equity equity from the bank I will need if I need bank financing. Know how much grant would be given to me if I want to go into the kind of investment that I'm looking at. Know the numbers. The numbers will always help you to have have a compass as to what you want to do for investment.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's talk about real estate a bit more, which is your core background here. So if I'm getting into real estate investment, what do I need to? How do I get into real estate investment here?
Okay, because of the present situation in the market, one thing you must do is first you must go for the brand.
Okay.
The brand matters a lot because the brand is what is going to secure your real estate on the long run. Okay. And by brand, I mean, I'm not just talking about EMAAR, because I know somebody's going to say, oh yeah, EMAAR is the biggest brand. No, but that's not what I'm saying. Of course, I speak for EMAAR as I speak right now. But I mean, the brand is very important. And you have to do your reviews. You have to do your checks and balances to know the brand that you should buy with.
Okay. But what are the top 5 brands in Dubai?
Of course, EMAAR is number one. I don't know who to place in number 2, so I'm not going to put the
so no number.
I'm not going to put 2 to 5
Yeah.
in any particular order, but I'll look at Dubai Properties.
Okay.
I'll look at the EMAAR.
Okay.
I would also perhaps maybe look at I don't even know any third person to put, because outside those 3, I don't know if I can call anyone. I don't know. The EMAAR, Dubai Properties. To be honest, I don't think there is any other developer presently in the market that I can actually add to the list apart from those 3.
Okay.
Because let me Miras.
Okay.
Popular for the City Walk and Blue Waters and stuff like that. Doing good projects now. Okay, so maybe those 4. Maybe then maybe Nakil.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, maybe Nakil. So we can put those. We can put all those developers there, but of course EMAAR stands out. DP is also there.
Okay.
We've got EMAAR Properties. We've got Miras.
Okay.
We've also got Nakil.
Yeah.
So
those are in terms of the top property.
the top real estate developers here. You can talk about them. Then we can just add one more, Shoba.
Okay.
Shoba Heartland. We can add Shoba to it.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we've identified the brand. So what else do we need to do to invest in real estate?
Now, after identifying the brand, you have to understand also the location. Location matters a lot. You have to look at the location that gives the highest occupancy ratio.
Okay.
And if it's a new district that is entirely created, of course, that's where the brand comes in. Because, for example, I'll put it like this: EMAAR Properties is the number 1 brand, so people always want to buy EMAAR first before any other brand. And the reason for that is not because the brand is the strongest, or they are the biggest developer in UAE. Of course, that means they have results. It's also because EMAAR has developed communities that generates the highest occupancy ratio. For example, Dubai Marina is a community developed by EMAAR, and it's a place that offers you the highest occupancy ratio.
Okay.
Especially in terms of rent and stuff. A lot of people do want to get an apartment first in Dubai Marina.
Okay.
So if you are looking at getting rental income on your property, you have to sometimes look at the developer that gives you a community with projects that offer high occupancy ratio.
Okay.
Because that way you know that your unit is going to be rented out, regardless of whether your unit is going to be rented out more or less.
Okay.
There is a fact that your unit will be rented out.
Okay.
Because it is developed by that brand, and that brand always gives developed communities with high occupancy ratios. So you have to look at the location, and if it's a new community, that's why you have to now look at the brand. Okay, the brand has developed on this community, they provided this percentage of occupancy ratio, 70-80%. Then I can follow them if they are building a new community, which is pretty much what happens when EMAAR builds new communities, because we typically build communities, not just projects. So location is very important. So you have to understand the pros and cons of each location, all right, and that also helps you a lot. Okay. Outside of the brand and the location, you have to also look at close proximities to metro stations. Of course, I could put that into location, but I always like to separate it, because metro stations in Dubai is actually a very, very crucial reason why people actually rent properties. People like to rent close to the metro. People like to live close to the metro. If it's not close to the metro, there are chances that you will not get a large proportion of people living there. Take, for example, why do a lot of people live in Dubai Marina? Because there is good metro connectivity there. There's metro, there's tram. Okay, so if you don't use the metro, the tram takes you from the tram station straight to the metro. The metro connects you to every other place in the city. Why do a lot of people live in Al Barsha? Because there are 2 metro stations in Al Barsha. There's Shahab DG Metro and there's Mall of the Emirates Metro. And especially around the Shahab DG and Mall of the Emirates, a lot of people are living there. Why? Because it is close to the metro. So sometimes the price of the units doesn't really matter. That's for rent. may not really matter if it is close to the metro.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
people will rather spend less on transportation than spend more.
Okay. Yeah.
They rather spend less and
Rather spend more on the cost
more
of the
of the
rent.
cost of the rent than spend less than spend more on transportation.
Yeah.
And since the metro is the cheapest form of transportation.
Yeah.
In Dubai, people would rather use the metro. The taxis, transportation is very good in Dubai, but taxes are pretty much expensive.
Yeah.
Especially for an average Nigerian. So you would rather just use the metro. So that is a huge factor in
deciding how to get into real estate.
One last thing, you have to know whether the real estate company is actually making profits. I know that sounds crazy, but
so how do I find that out?
They publish their they publish their
statements. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They publish it, so you can check it. You can check whether they are making profit.
Okay.
Because the tendency is if they are not making profit, your unit is going to be delayed.
Oh, okay.
And if your property is going to be delayed, you won't get it rented out on time. It's going to be finished. A lot of other projects would have handed over. People will move to the ones that have been handed over, start living there. So you're waiting and stuff. So
okay, interesting.
I also need to add, you need to check the history of the developers, especially the ones that are fond of delaying projects.
Okay.
Some developers are already known for that here in Dubai, and just know the history of the development company, not just about project delay, but also about the finishing, because people will not live in or buy a property that is not properly done, that delays. People will not buy that in Dubai.
So is there does the government or does the regulator release this sort of information? Companies that delay properties and all that?
Well, they do not release, to be honest.
Okay.
But the reviews are everywhere online. If you want to, you can just put EMAAR reviews. I'm sure there's a lot of things you see, good and bad, of course.
So who are the companies that regulates the real estate industry in Dubai?
It's called RERA. That's the Real Estate Regulatory Agency.
Okay.
And they are under the Dubai Land Department.
Okay.
They are a body under DLD, that's Dubai Land Department. They basically regulate everything that's to do with real estate here in Dubai.
Okay.
From real estate brokerage to real estate development. As a matter of fact, you cannot. You have to be a licensed real estate personnel here before you can actually do real estate.
Okay.
You have to be a certified real estate personnel here before you can actually do real estate. It's called RERA. You have to have a certificate. It's called RERA certificate. That's a Real Estate Regulatory Agency certificate.
Okay.
Which is only valid for 1 year. So you have to always go and renew every year. I'm RERA certified.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so I want to break it down a little bit more because some of the things we've been talking about can be a bit over the head. So I'm a Nigerian. So there are two levels of Nigerians. There's the luxury Nigerian and there's the more average Nigerian. I want to start from the luxury Nigerian.
Okay.
So I have 200 to 1 billion naira that I want to invest. So how would you invest? How can I invest that money in Dubai? And also, what are the sort of returns I can expect and in what time?
If you have a 200 to 1 billion, I think you just call me. Okay, that's a joke. Okay, if you have 200 million to 1 billion, that's about 2 million to 10 million dirhams actually. Because let's talk in dirhams now. Well, there are a lot of things you can actually do, especially in real estate. There are quite a number of things to do. On the average, I must say this, Dubai offers about 7% return on investment yearly, on the average.
Guaranteed?
It's not guaranteed.
Okay.
To say guaranteed is to be fraudulent.
Okay.
But on the average, if you compare Dubai with other major city-states in the world, the ROI seems to be the best. Not because it's the highest, but it seems to be the best. And I'll explain why. the return on investment here is untaxable. It's not taxed at all. So you
Okay.
don't get to pay income tax. You don't get to pay capital gains tax.
Okay.
Dubai at present is a tax haven. That's another thing I forgot to mention why, Dubai is ripe for investment, because presently it's a tax haven. The only tax that is paid here is value-added tax, which is just 5%. But there is no income tax. You get your salary. There's no income tax. There's no capital gains tax. There's no form of tax. So if you are going to be investing here, whether it's 6 or 7% on the average, because some areas you give about 10%, you will not be paying any tax. So
Okay.
if you're going to be considering real estate investment, that is a brilliant idea. As a matter of fact, especially in the long term, you can put that kind of money into properties. Most of the developers here usually do revenue sharing.
Okay.
So what it is like perhaps maybe the hotel management company takes 60% of the total revenue, and they share the 40% amongst the investors.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's also there. So with 200 million to 1 billion, you can do investments from tech to media and to real estate. Understanding the kind of just as we said, understanding your investment objective, either short term or long term. But if it's long term, I can tell you authoritatively, you can go into real estate investment.
Okay.
Because that would even place you that will put you in a place where you can actually begin to think of even getting a residence visa.
Okay.
Because if you have if you buy a property worth 1 million and above, and the property is ready, you have your title deed, you can go apply for residence visa.
Okay.
So imagine you buying a property, over 1 million dirhams, which is 100 million, and it's ready, and you get your title deed. You as a Nigerian can actually have a residence visa, so you don't even need to come to Dubai on tourist visa.
Awesome.
That's another advantage of having that. It's on the side. You can
Okay.
you can have that, and you have access to the Emirates ID. You have access to, you do medical insurance. You do good things here. You put yourself in a good place.
Okay.
If you do that, and again, it's 100% capital repatriation. You can actually open a business here in Dubai without and it's owned by you 100%. You don't need
A sponsor.
You don't need a sponsor. You can actually, some free zones here. There are a lot of free zones here that can give you that. There's a lot of free zones here that would allow you open that kind of company.
Okay.
And it's 100% capital repatriation. You take all your money back for yourself. There is no tax on it.
Awesome.
There are quite a number of things. So if you are the kind of person that you're looking to have an international office, you can think of Dubai. Actually, you can actually come and have an international office here, especially if you're into trading and services. You can actually think of having an international branch here in Dubai, and you can do your business here directly from Dubai, especially because there is no tax.
Awesome.
So you can actually have a company here without paying tax.
Okay.
Doesn't that sound nice?
It sounds amazing. So for a more average investor,
Yes.
what would be your recommendations?
For a more average investor, I'll still recommend real estate because, especially real estate for now. And the reason for that is because a lot of people who could not afford to own a home, which is the middle income earners in Dubai, can now afford to do that. And that's because of the payment plan structure that the developers are offering now. I have a little bit of reservation for the payment plan that developers are offering. We have developers offering not EMAAR. EMAAR is offering, I think, a very stable payment plan. By payment plan, what I'm actually talking about is post handover payment plan, and what that means is that you are given a number of years to continue to pay for the property, even when the property has been completed and handed over to you.
Interesting.
For example, if the property is going to be completed, an off-plan property is going to be completed in December 2019, developers are now giving post handover payment plan up to 2023, 2024. EMAAR is very conservative. We are giving a maximum post-handover payment plan of 3 years as we speak.
Okay.
So if your property is going to be ready, perhaps now, you only get to pay the balance in 3 years, which is fair, But some developers are going to 5, 7, 8 years. And it's not really the best, because that means you're now taking the role of the banks, and that's a bit of an instability in the economy, because when developers start taking the role of the banks, people will not go to banks to get loan. And the whole purpose of the bank is financial intermediation. You get from the surplus, give to deficit at a cost. So the banks will now perhaps not be making enough money, and that upsets the system a bit. You know? So I have a lot of reservations to that. But because of that, as a matter of fact, a lot of people who used to rent are now homeowners. You know, and which is something now that Nigerians can benefit from as a middle income earner. You can have a property and begin to pay for it in installments for up to 7-8 years. You can have buy a property now. You can have a property, especially with EMAAR, and pay. There are some properties in EMAAR that you can pay for 5 years, not because we are giving 5 years post-annual payment plan. It's because perhaps the property is going to be ready in 2021, but we're giving you 3 years post-annual payment plan. So which gives you like an additional, which gives you like a total of 5 years to actually pay for a property. So if you're a middle income earner, perhaps you should be able to look at it that, okay, my annual salary is maybe 7 or 8 million per year. You can begin to think of how you can buy a property and pay for it in the next 5 years. And as a matter of fact, if it's post-handover payment plan, you can actually implement a strategy that says that, okay, as when the property is handed over to me, all right, I would have paid perhaps maybe 25% of the property value. The remaining 75% I have to pay for 3 years. I can rent it out for 3 years and make money and use part of the rental income to pay part of the 75% I'm supposed to pay, which is a good strategy. So you can think like that, and that way it even becomes simpler for you to actually own a home. You know, so that's what I can advise for middle income earners.
Thank you. So I have a question. So what happens if I default?
Well, I think with us, you pay 2% default charge on that for that installment, because it's an installment. However, there is a general rule. When you begin to default on buying your properties, of course, you'll be sent a lot of reminders, and when you don't oblige, you'll be served a legal notice. The long and short of the story is that you lose the property if you default. So
and you lose your investment as well.
That's the whole thing. You lose it. But this is what I always tell people. I mean, in an effort not to lose your money, you can sell your property. I mean, if you're paid up to 30%, I always advise, of the property value, you can actually put your property up for sale and get somebody else to buy it and cash out on what you've paid, and let the person continue with the installment. That can be done. They'll just do a transfer at the balance department, and that's okay. There'll be some paperwork that will need to be done.
Nice. It's great to hear that there's an option.
There's an option for it to sell it off, yes.
So now there's something that we've been hearing about a lot in the last couple of years, and it's about Nigerians and Africans in general investing in fictitious property deals. So my question is around how to spot a fake Dubai real estate investment, and how do these fake investments even thrive at all? Some of them have offices. They come with, there's a particular one, a friend of mine told me, they met him at the airport, they pitched to him, took him to their office in town, gave him tickets to the Burj Khalifa, and all sorts of things that enticed him to part with about $75,000. So how do you spot it? And what can you do to ensure that you confirm that your real estate investment is?
I think I'm just going to start like this. That's why that's why I like the fact that you asked me, can I give you an example of the top developers here? You know, you have to know the top developers or the top brokerage companies here.
Yeah.
Because that way you know that your investment is safe.
Yes.
You can't just, anyone can just walk up to you and tell you about real estate investment or whatever kind of investment. I mean, you have to go back and do your own due diligence to run some checks on them and see what they have done in the past. History tells you a lot about an investment.
Yeah.
You know, history tells you a lot. You know, so especially for real estate, I understand a lot of people have gotten their fingers burnt because they didn't do their due diligence. You know, and so to answer that in a more direct way, every real estate investment here, every real estate investment here has to be RERA certified. It is not just the real estate executive or the real estate personnel that has to be RERA certified. Every real estate development or brokerage company here has to be RERA certified. Okay? And they would have a RERA number. They will have an RERA number. I think they also have something called ORN number.
Okay.
So which I think you can enter in Dubai Land. I think Dubai Land Department website.
Okay.
You can enter the ORN or RERA number on the website, and if it pops out their name on the website, that means that they are registered.
Yeah.
So they are a certified real estate company.
Okay.
And it's not enough for you to say that they must have an office and they must have a business card. They must have a RERA number.
Okay.
A RERA number already proves that. Because what the RERA number does is that you can report your case to Dubai government.
Okay.
You can report a case of perhaps fraud or suspected fraud to the police, and the police will, of course, get the Dubai Land Department to intervene.
Okay.
And the first thing they will check is if this person registered, who is the proprietor or the person in charge. And that's the first person that will need to answer questions. So that means if they are a registered entity, then there will be someone that will be accountable for something that goes wrong. So that's what you must check. You must ask for a RERA number. So if they walk up to you and say, okay, what's your RERA number or ORN or your BRN number, whatever number, just go and run it on the Dubai Land Department. You can type Dubai Land Department. I think the website, I think we'll get the website for you. There is a website you can actually check these things.
Yeah, we'll provide the website in the article that comes with the podcast.
Yes. You can check that, and once that checks out, then you are fine. You can go ahead, and as much as possible, stick to the popular brands, because the popular brands here, the popular brands seem to be the strongest brands here.
Okay.
So if they are not strong, you don't invest.
Okay.
And how do you know they are strong? You just go online. Go everywhere. You cannot. If you get into Dubai, for example, there is nowhere you step your foot into that you won't find EMAAR. You will see EMAAR somewhere.
Well, okay. So to chip in now, one thing I find about the less popular brands is that sometimes they are more creative and adventurous with their projects. For example, there's a particular brand I see everywhere. It's called Heart of Europe. So I see that brand everywhere. There are a few other brands I see everywhere. So sometimes some of these brands are a lot more creative and adventurous, because the popular brands have made their name. They've made they go after some of the more surer projects, but they are investors that are looking for their lifestyle. We talked about how you need to make an investment that fits with your lifestyle. There are new islands opening up close to around Dubai that certain companies are doing, because I am very keen on the real estate market as well. So that's the reason why some people go with some of these lesser known brands, but with more creative and adventurous projects.
Yes, no matter how creative they want to be, and no matter how attractive, which is, I think, the word we should be using actually, no matter how attractive the brands are to you, you must not fail to do your own due diligence.
Yeah.
We are Nigerians.
It starts with checking whether they have a RERA number.
We are Nigerians. Everything that looks beautiful to us is actually, we suspect that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Because as a Nigerian, when you see someone that is well suited and is trying to sell something to you, you think, okay, this guy, 419.
Yeah.
As much as that, that's not too good, because you are treating everyone you see with prejudice, But you must always have that you must be curious about something. Okay, perhaps let me just take that extra 10 minutes, Google, and just do your due diligence about the company. Ask questions. Don't just jump into the investment. Ask questions. Check their history. Check how many transactions they've done. Check their reviews. All these things are always actually there that actually points to the fact that whether you should deal with them or not. So the information is always there online.
Awesome.
Which is what I always tell people. A lot of people who I speak to back home and say, oh, I will not invest in Dubai. I lost my money. And so I said, okay, good. But the same way you keep saying you will not invest in Dubai is the same way someone else keeps pumping money into Dubai and is getting good return on investment. That means that that means there's a difference between the two of you. Someone did his due diligence, invested in the right company. You didn't do yours properly. You just wanted to invest. So again, my emphasis is on due diligence.
Okay.
Do your due diligence. I can tell you all the rules. I can tell you RERA number. The RERA number may check out, but the company may be dealing with financial issues. You have to do your due diligence. The company may be known for property delays. You have to do your due diligence. The property may be known for not handing over on time. Just ensure you do your due diligence and check if everything checks out on RERA. Check if they have a history of litigation. Just do your due diligence before you put your money into any form of investment, especially real estate in Dubai.
Awesome. So we talked about, you mentioned timeshare. Now, timeshare is something that a lot of Nigerians are invested in because timeshare seemed really interesting. But there are Nigerians that invested in timeshare 14 years ago that right now they are not here. So what's the latest on timeshare and what's the government saying about it?
The government I think it was posted on Gulf News or Khalid Times. I can't remember. I saw it somewhere in one of those news publications that they are not a registered body here in UAE.
Okay.
And which only means that they've been operating without government oversight.
Okay.
And because of that, if anything happens, you probably will not be able to report anything to the government, and government will not be able to do anything for you.
Okay. So what can they do? What can people that lost their investment to timeshare do?
So people lost their funds in timeshare because the publication was around March this year, I think on Gulf News, where the Dubai Economic Department actually told us that the company no longer exists. I'm talking about the Arabian Times Travel and Tourism LLC. They are the ones that actually did this timeshare thing more than any other company here. Of course, the concept is called timeshare, but the company is not really called timeshare.
Okay.
The concept is you buy, all of you pay, a whole lot of people pay for a particular time.
Okay.
In the year or in the month for the property to be used, and if it is used at that particular time, you get your return on investment.
Okay.
And if it is not used, of course, you keep paying service charges.
Okay.
So you're probably just paying for something that other people have paid for.
Okay.
But for a different time slot. And whether it is used or not, you pay service charge. So you just keep paying for nothing. It doesn't. To be honest, I would not even invest in that kind of investment because I don't see the reality of it. I don't see it. I don't own it. I only own a slot. I'm at the mercy of who owns the property. So we are all paying a slot for someone who owns the property.
Okay.
So it doesn't ever. It's not a sensible investment to me, to be very blunt and honest.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about EMAAR. And so, what are some of the available opportunities as EMAAR for people to invest in?
EMAAR has a very large portfolio of properties, ranging from residential to hotel investments. So you can decide to actually buy residential properties, at least with $200,000, which is roughly around 720,000 dirhams. You can actually buy a property with EMAAR.
Okay.
Payable in installments. That's the minimum amount you can actually use to buy a property.
That's about 75 million naira.
Yes, roughly around that. That's the minimum amount you can actually buy a property.
And I can pay 25 million naira to start, which is about...
Not really. We have different... with 25 million, you can only pay if that is a ready property, okay, and you get bank financing for the remaining 75%.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
If it's a ready property. But if it's not a ready property, you can pay the whole 75 million over a period of 4 years,
okay,
and pay it in installments. And if you insist on mortgage, you probably need to get a pre-approval even when the property is in off-plan phase from the bank.
Okay.
And when you get a pre-approval, which means that the bank is saying that, okay, we're going to give you this mortgage, not that they've given you.
Yeah.
You can eventually approach EMAAR. They can give you a payment plan for 50% of the property value for 4 years, perhaps, so that by the fourth year, once you have paid up to 50%, then the mortgage will kick in.
Okay.
Which will take care of the remaining 50% payable to EMAAR, and you pay the bank for the required number of years that you have applied for the mortgage for.
But what do I need to do to access this mortgage?
Just approach the bank, to be honest. The bank will then tell you what you need to do. Of course, if you don't have a bank account and you don't earn some kind of salary, or you don't earn some kind of income as an entrepreneur, you cannot get some kind of mortgage. It's the same rule that applies everywhere in the world.
Okay.
On lending, that also applies to mortgage lending and any other kind of lending here in Dubai.
Okay. So thank you very much, Tobi.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, that was a very insightful podcast. And we look forward to having you on the podcast to talk about different other things.
It would be my pleasure.
Okay.